Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
What's up, everybody? Kevin Jackson here. It's a Kevin Jackson Show. Glad you're with me. KJRadio.com. Hope you had a great weekend. We have tons to talk about. We came off perhaps the greatest week in politics in a decade, at least. The Democrats are imploding on themselves. Everywhere you look, you watch these clowns just spiraling in the death spiral of liberalism, leftism, whatever you want to call it, what do they call it? Progressivism. I call them Plutopians. Dying on the vine. Judges going down, senators going down, congressmen going down, Holly weirdos, more and more. And let me tell you something, folks. We are only at the beginning. I'll talk more about that. Look, when I grew up, the FBI were the good guys and the Russians were the bad guys. But now, what do we have? We have one of the most corrupt departments of justice that we've had since Hoover. These guys make Hoover look like Mother Teresa. Holy Toledo, the cover-ups. The cover-ups worse than the crime. Look at all that's happening. Mueller is no longer investigating Donald Trump. Let me tell you what Mueller's doing. His team is playing cover-up. Put some clothes on that babe. They have so much stuff going on negative. It's ridiculous. Folks, we have a big part of this country who wants to get rid of a president who has seen a stock market increase of over 30% since he got elected. That's actually more than that. I told you guys it wouldn't shock me at all if this stock market punches through 25,000 before Christmas, before the end of the year. That's what I said, before the end of the year. Don't try to hold me to a standard. I did say before the end of the year, but whether it does or it doesn't, here's what I will tell you. The stock market is going to end in a flurry. I know me, personally, I wish I had bought some QQQ and just bet on the market. If you put $10,000 in just the market going up, you'd have $13,000, $14,000. It's crazy how fast this market has grown. We've got 40,000 additional manufacturing jobs, something that hasn't occurred in more than a decade. Barack Obama told us you got to get used to some of these jobs just ain't coming back. They ain't going to make it. And this clown takes credit for the economy, thanks himself for the economy, while forgetting what he said about Donald Trump and his ability to save Carrier. We'll play that clip a little bit later. We'll play both of them so you can hear them in context. What a clown. Let me tell you, the playbook of the left is so predictable, it's crazy. They're going to try to tell us that they're the party of morality because they got Franken to quit and Conyers quit. We're for women. So they're going to tell you that they're for women. Meanwhile, the people are going to continue to fall. I'll give you some other ones, some new ones today that came over the weekend. New revelations. They're going to tell you that this economy that Barack Obama couldn't spur, that we got business after business that said, I ain't coming back. I'm not doing anything with Barack Obama, but now he wants to take credit. It's my economy. And do you think Trump's going to let him get away with it? Trump doesn't even have to ridicule him. People saw that comment and went, yeah, whatever. Added 2 million jobs. That's the new number. 2 million jobs. They want him gone. In the same period, Barack Obama lost 4 million jobs. That is a net 6 million. If you want to compare, I'm just saying, lefties, if you're out there and you want to compare, let's do this, okay? Okay, let's do this right here. Consumer confidence through the roof. You are seeing it. You've been out shopping? I haven't seen Christmas season this busy in a decade. True story. I remember going out, it was maybe a couple years ago. Had to go get a chain repaired. Went to a jewelry store. As the black people say, a jewelry store. Went to a jewelry store. And I went to go get a chain repaired on Christmas Eve, when most dudes are out there scrambling to get those last minute gifts, when they jack the prices up. And there was nobody. It was a ghost town. It was like guys are saying, I ain't got it by now. I ain't getting it. And they can't blame it on it was internet based or whatever. During the time of Obama, you could shop freely. The only people who were out were the people waiting to mug you. Black Lives Matter. Scouting the parking lots. Yeah, white woman over there. Go get her. Go get her, boy. Oh, man. ISIS on the run. You heard much about him. General Mattis. Not a huge fan of General Mattis, but he's got ISIS on the run. He's a lefty. A lot of these people in the Obama and Trump administration are lefties. Ooh, got the vapors. I slipped up and said Obama. But a lot of these people are still lefties. It's okay. There's a reason for this. I'll get to that in just a second. Remember when we were told Donald Trump's a racist, right? But wait, more blacks have homes than over a decade. Yeah, more black people started purchasing homes under Donald Trump than over a decade. More Hispanics are employed than in the last decade. I was going to say than any time in history. It's probably true. So blacks and Latinos are being helped by this racist. So here's the thing. You wonder why Donald Trump brags about his accomplishments, why he holds these rallies. He held a rally in Pensacola, Florida. Wish I could have been there to be at it. But he held this rally. I love these rallies. You want to know why? They full. And Trump says, hey, all you people that you're in here, congratulations, because there's just as many of you outside wanting to get in. I'd love to see Barack Obama hold a rally. He's following in behind Donald Trump. Let's see Barack Obama hold a rally. Let's see how well it goes. Because let me tell you, if he doesn't have some rap act or somebody come do something, he can't fill a community theater. Nobody gives a crap about him. And the left hate it. That's why they try. Hey, Barack Obama's in China. Barack Obama's over here. Barack Obama's there. Doing what? What? People are going to see a former president out of courtesy. But other than that, nobody gives a crap. Do you give a crap about the ex person who was in charge of France or the ex person in charge of China or in charge of Canada? The answer is no. Exes are gone. Do you give a crap about your ex? Of course not. Much to talk about. Keep it here.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful 4-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville. Can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.
Jackson Radio Show.
As we took these actions, we saw the U.S. economy grow consistently. We saw the longest streak of job creation in American history by far, a streak that still continues, by the way. Thanks, Obama.
Oh, yeah, that was Barack Obama trying to take credit for this economy, this robust economy, something he couldn't create. Spent $1 trillion a year trying to do it and couldn't do it. Had to rely on the white man. I wrote that piece, Why America Needs a White Republican President, and I stand by it. Look at all the things that are happening that they still negatively talk about Donald Trump. Negatively. But he goes on. Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's a Kevin Jackson Radio Show. KJRadio.com if you want to call in, 844-551-8255. But let's remember, the reason why Barack Obama can't sell this lie that he wants to sell, it's very simple. He already told people he didn't know how to grow an economy. I just want to remind people what he said when Donald Trump made the comment that he would save Carrier.
But for those folks who've lost their job right now because a plant went down to Mexico, that isn't going to make you feel better. And so what we have to do is to make sure that folks are trained for the jobs that are coming in now, because some of those jobs of the past are just not going to come back. And when somebody says, like the person you just mentioned, who I'm not going to advertise for, that he's going to bring all these jobs back. Well, how exactly are you going to do that? What are you going to do? There's no answer to it. He just says, well, I'm going to negotiate a better deal. Well, how exactly are you going to negotiate that? What magic wand do you have? And usually the answer is he doesn't have an answer.
Well, he had an answer. And he did it. And you know what he did? He did it with ease. I can't even, guys, I'm going to talk about this for the next 20 years if I'm on the radio, whatever. Well, I hope I'm not, because I'm going to be on the radio in 20 years. I know that. But what I'll tell you is I will talk about this as long as it's relevant, because Barack Obama wants to take credit now for an economy when he couldn't even figure out how to save Carrier. And Trump saves it with ease. But here were the naysayers. When that happened, George Will, a never-Trumper, here's what he had to say.
You mentioned in the previous panel that we just had the sort of deal-a-day approach of the president-elect, where he's descending on different companies and seemingly making ultimatums, but otherwise cutting deals with them and so forth. We have a quote that we'd like to show you. This is from a former Bush administration economic advisor, Greg Mankiw, who was quoted in the Washington Post as saying about this, quote, when a chief exec is making individual calls to individual companies, he's in some sense acting like a central planner. We have a lot of history under communism that suggests it doesn't work well in practice, and that's the direction heading in as the president starts to weigh in on individual business decisions. George Will, do you agree?
I entirely agree. So far, Donald Trump's style is personal, not to say visceral, and ad hoc. And what that adds up to is a kind of use of presidential power absolutely unconstrained by law and statute and all those other niceties. The problem is when you have, in the Carrier case, political power used to bring pressure upon a privately held corporation that has a fiduciary duty to maximize shareholder value and drive them off with political pressure from making economic decisions about economic assets, you are in effect, at the end of the day, getting the federal government involved in capital allocation. There's a name for that. It's called socialism.
Political power used to bring pressure upon a privately held corporation. Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. George Will, anti-Trumper, mad, saying, what is the president supposed to do? He's supposed to do exactly that. He said, look, guys, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I will tell you this. If you decide you're going to move away, understand I'm going to wield influence to say companies that do this type of thing, you're not going to, we're not going to let you just come back over here and sell your products at a cheaper price and all these other things. And you're certainly not going to be getting the best of the government contracts. But that was considered communist. But I guarantee you, if Obama had done it, the left would be praising how good it was. And by the way, so would I. I would say it's about time these guys used it leverage. That's what you do. It's called pulling the levers. But then Chris Hayes of MSNBC, here's what he had to say about Donald Trump saving Carrier.
Was a favorite candidate Trump, the Carrier air conditioning plant in Indianapolis, which back in February, in an announcement that was caught on camera, told its workers they were up and moving production to Mexico.
It became clear that the best way to stay competitive and protect the business for long term is to move production from our facility in Indianapolis to Monterrey, Mexico.
The move would eliminate 1,400 jobs at least in Indianapolis over a 3-year timetable. There's also another factory nearby. But after Trump made Carrier part of his campaign platform, workers told NBC News they hoped he would deliver, though they were skeptical.
Now, let's say he does follow through. I'm assuming that would be a euphoric day for everyone at Carrier.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if he could come here and save these 1,400 jobs here tomorrow, I'll gladly vote for him again if he's up for re-election. But you know, I have to be skeptical, but I'm very hopeful that he can come through on these things he said he would do.
Late tonight, CNBC broke news Trump is heading to Indianapolis this Thursday to announce a deal that would apparently save 1,000 jobs. Carrier confirming that report, tweeting out late tonight, we were pleased to have reached a deal with President-elect Trump and, this is key, VP-elect Pence to keep close to 1,000 jobs in Indy. More details soon.
I love the part where he says, and this is key, Vice President Pence, because Chris Hayes didn't want to say this was a deal done by President Trump. No offense to Pence. This had nothing to do with him. This had to do with President Trump. Now, he did him a favor because it happened to be in Pence's home state. But it didn't matter whether Pence was VP or not. Carrier was going to go. When they mentioned it, Donald Trump said during the campaign, I know how to save him. I know how to keep him here. And everybody's like, what's he going to do? And you heard Barack Obama. They always make these promises. Let me tell you the promises that Donald Trump has made. He promised to recognize Jerusalem and move our embassy to there, recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel and move our embassy there. And he did it. 3 other presidents talked about it. You've seen the clips on this now. He talked about saving Carrier. He did it. He talked about reducing regulations for business and bringing trillions of dollars of productivity back into the economy by eradicating it from the paperwork, the red tape nightmare of government. He did it. He talked about reducing taxes and regulations so that business would want to operate in America. He's doing it. He talked about getting rid of Obamacare, letting it die on the vine so we could put something in that works. He's in the process of doing that. Let me tell you, pretty soon, when this man says, I want to start taking a look at blankety blank, people are going to stop being naysayers. That's the outcome. That's what all this is about. See, we are back. I want to hearken us back. This was the theme of the show today, hearkening back. Remember when? Remember when people's word meant something? Politicians actually went and did what they said they were going to do? Well, we're back in that time, folks, and it feels good.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. We've got a bunch of petulant leftists out there. Little children. They're mad. Told you they're mad. You know why they're mad? Because you are getting the America back that we grew up with. That's our theme. We want it back. Change it back. Make America great again. That means hearkening back to the good old days. I say that all the time because leftists, particularly black leftists, hate that. They hate the old America that they've been taught to is discriminatory and all that. Let me tell you what the good old days are. I'm not talking about going back to the 1860s. I'm certainly not talking about going back to the 1960s. I'm talking about going back to the 80s, a time when America had said, we're done with this racial strife. It was the Reagan era. Everybody was starting to come of age. Women now had their rights. We're moving towards, just spectacular results. Look at the the women that we've created during that time, these moguls doing it, man, just doctors and lawyers and TV hosts and all that, dominant in their field. Same with blacks. And the black conservative was born then, because suddenly black people woke up and went, wait a minute, the 60s are over. We're not getting beat down by cops. The only thing stopping us are us. And then there were songs like, ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. So we were, we went from say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud, to ain't no stopping us now, because we were moving ahead, forging ahead. The black middle class flourished in the time of Reagan, the big tent era. And so the race pimp was suddenly almost out of a job. And then post-Reagan, we started getting into a lot of the old politics of the norm, and suddenly we find ourselves now under Obama. Well, I mean, post-Obama, but that during that period, race became an issue. All of a sudden, I mean, race was hardly being discussed. See, that was the old America. We'd gotten over it. We were one America, baby. Even Bill Clinton ushered in this level of productivity because of the Congress of Newt Gingrich. He was a rock star. Balanced the budget, blah, blah, blah. I mean, everything was going well. And then suddenly we get George W. Because Bill Clinton took his eye off the ball when it came to Muslim terrorists. He didn't see the expansion of what was going on through Iran. And next thing you know, terrorism's all over the world being, Clinton doesn't do anything about it. His foreign policy stunk. Domestically, he did well. Foreign policy, not so well. Then we get Bush, who inherits the destruction that the left was trying, that the Muslims were trying to commit in America. They bring down the towers. Our economy tanks. It didn't help that George Bush was a conservative Republican. I'm a conservative Republican. What do you call himself? No, not a conservative Republican. He called himself a passionate conservative. Passionate conservatism. Passionate conservatism. So he poses that, which essentially means I'm a leftist with an R behind my name. He takes away our rights with the Patriot Act. I don't know about you. I didn't have my eye on the ball at the time, so I can't blame anybody. And then we get Barack Obama. That's right. Ushered in the Obama era, and he was happy to do it. George Bush happily turned around. Obama came to meet with him and said, will you please take on this $787 billion of debt to save the world? And Bush said, I'll gladly do it. And then Barack Obama torpedoed this fool, and now they're buddies. Worst president in the history of our nation, bar none. Jimmy Carter, you're welcome. That's what Barack Obama should have said instead of trying to take credit for President Trump's economy. So the left are still living on this, and I call it muscle memory, but they're still living on this muscle memory of leftism being good, and it is being destroyed. And I'm looking at people like Lindsey Vonn, Tiger Woods' girlfriend. I think that's his girlfriend, right? Lindsey Vonn says, I'm not going to represent Donald Trump in the Olympics. I'll represent America. Sorry, Lindsey. We don't want you. Watch what happens to Lindsey Vonn now that she's made this declaration. Watch what happens. By the way, Tiger Woods had just played golf with the president. I'm going to make a prediction. They're not even together in 6 months. Tiger breaks up with her. Not going to have you talking smack about the president and think you're going to get away with it. What else we got? Jennifer Lawrence says, I'll throw, champagne in the face, or martini. She said something like, I don't know what it is. If I saw Trump, I'd end it by throwing martini in his face, and Donald Trump Jr. tweeted, yeah, that would be the last thing you did, or that would be the end. I dare her to do it. See, this is a girl who's lost her career. She's now in the what they call it, the archives of Hollywood, because she can't put out anymore and get any jobs. So she thinks by coming out of the woodwork and talking smack about Donald Trump, that's going to get her some jobs. Hey, Jennifer, I'm going to make you a bet. I bet we don't see you in anything worthwhile for quite some time, if ever again. I'm just telling you what these people are. They are losing their minds. And you know what? It isn't going to help them to be these, I'm going to come out and beat my chest and act like I hate Donald Trump. Keep doing it. I've been telling everybody, the people that have the guts to come out and support Donald Trump. For example, Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis came out and says, hey, I think he's great. Wore a MAGA hat on one of these late night shows, and the guy was, it was on Jimmy, not on Jimmy Kimmel. It was on the other guy, the one I like, Fallon. And he's like, you serious? He's like, yeah, I'm serious. Dude's a great president. You got Orrin Hatch making a comment. I love serving under this president. He's decisive. He knows what he wants to do. If you think for 1 second that a rhino like Orrin Hatch says that because he's currying favor, this is an old dude that knows his time is over. He's telling you, you know what? Finally, I get to do what I'm supposed to do in politics. Follow a leader. You think Trump gives a crap about Jennifer Lawrence? You think he gives a crap about Lindsey Vonn? You think he gives a crap about these NFLers? He is going to make this country great, and he is going to make sure that the feeling that you have, he doesn't care if you like him or not, but you know what you will like and what you will respect, what this country does for you. I love it. I love it, man. John Lewis. Civil rights relic. I won't go to the whatever was it the some civil rights museum that's opening somewhere. Yet another one. This one I think's in Mississippi. I'm not going to go if Donald Trump goes. Fine. You didn't go to his inauguration. Does anybody give a crap? Everybody's making a big news story about this. John Lewis, civil rights icon, won't go to the Civil Rights Museum if Donald Trump's there. Why not? Go there and take a knee, John Lewis. Go pull a Kaepernick. Why? Why does John Lewis not want to go? Because Trump is so bad for blacks? I think I just heard a statistic that more blacks own houses under Trump than under Obama. The horror! What do you say to that, Barack? That's my economy. Oh, man. These people are losing it. And it's cool. You should be happy they're losing it. They showcase every single day why we are so important. Look at this. Trump has done nothing to hurt blacks. I love these women that are, we better hold on to your uteruses. And my gosh, we better all get our abortions now. We better all, make sure that Planned Parenthood is around, or, they got all these issues and nothing is changing for them except for the better. They got more money. They're getting more free time, more time to spend with family and friends, and more enjoyment out of their jobs, because you know what? When your company's doing well, you flourish. It goes downhill. All these companies are doing better. Their friends are starting to get jobs. Their kids are starting to get jobs. Yay! But they can't be made happy. Yeah, they don't want to hearken back to that America that Donald Trump is saying, you know what, let's take all this good stuff that we've done about America, all these things we've overcome, and we're going to add to it. You know what we're going to do? We're going to go back to the way it was when we were manufacturing, when we were innovating, when people had more of their money to spend, when people could dedicate more time to their family because they were employing other people and using services and keeping this economy moving. How about that, America? You feeling that? I feel it. Merry Christmas, by the way, Donald Trump said. We'll play a clip when we come back. We don't have enough time now. I'm so glad you guys are here. This is a fun show today for me. Kevin Jackson Show will be back in just a bit. Keep it.
Kevin Jackson on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
And if you think this crowd is big, you should see right now what's outside. Congratulations. Hello, Pensacola. What a place. Right here on the Emerald Coast, right? The Emerald Coast. In the great state of Florida, where we had a tremendous victory, didn't we? Come on.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's a Kevin Jackson Show. That, of course, is President Donald Trump. Not businessman Donald Trump, not billionaire Donald Trump, not celebrity apprentice Donald Trump, but President Donald Trump. And he's speaking in Pensacola, Florida, and he makes no bones about it. There's more people outside than inside. You are lucky to be in here. I love it. He's not letting up. Yeah, where it all happened, the state that did it, the state they didn't think I could win, you brought it to me, folks. And I'm glad to be here with you. I love these rallies. I said earlier in the broadcast, do you think Barack Obama could have standing room only, people outside waiting to get in if he called a rally together? Anybody? Leftists. I'd love for you to call in and argue that Donald Trump is not more popular than Barack Obama. Not just here, but abroad. Now, I want you to think about that for just a second. Let me give you the number to call in if you do, 844-551-8255. And for those of you who want to remember this broadcast ad infinitum until you decide you want to go away, you can download it at kjradio.com. I want to we're going to play the rest of the clip of some of the president's discussion because he let us in on some things that have happened on his watch that people aren't aware of. But I want to go and delve a little bit deeper into why these rallies are so important. The left told us they weren't because the left knows that they actually are. They couldn't get people to come to their rallies. Hillary Clinton couldn't scare enough people to come to her rallies. So they had to tell us they're not that important. That doesn't mean Donald Trump's going to win the election, and it did mean that he's going to win the election. But what these rallies are, they're pep rallies. They're reminders of what's going on in the world. And Donald Trump is saying to you, no matter what they tell you, let me tell you, folks, we are doing great. They're like little State of the Unions. But he's not waiting for the one for Congress where we get to see the John Lewises of the world sit there with their hands folded and the left side of the aisle is just sitting there like, oh, ain't nothing happening. So what? The stock market is making everybody rich. You know, we're fighting for the middle class. Well, while these morons are lying about fighting for the middle class, Donald Trump is actually making the middle class rich. He's getting them better jobs, job mobility. He's taking their stock portfolios and taking them through the roof. He's doing all the things to make people go, whoa, what's going on here? There was a lady, a black chick, and she was mad at Trump. This is, I don't know, a few months back, and she was like, you know, you're going in here talking about opportunity. Where are the jobs? And she's yelling in the camera, and I'm saying, boy, I wonder if this woman is actually looking at now. What would she say now if she had to remake this video? Record low unemployment, jobs coming back in droves. But back to Pensacola, Donald Trump I don't know who schedules these things, but he goes there. He talks about manufacturing jobs, 40,000 new manufacturing jobs. He talks about opportunities, businesses coming in. And Barack Obama had the nerve to say it's his economy. We've already gone through the clips on that. But I can't believe this. How could you even possibly say this? There were CEOs of companies. Dow Chemical, point blank, said, I would not have made the moves I'm making in America if it were not for the election of Donald Trump. The owner of SoftBank, said, I would not have made a $50 billion investment in the United States and promised to bring 50,000 new jobs here if it had not been for this man getting elected. We already know Ford was moving. We know GM was moving, and they aren't anymore. We know Carrier was gone. It's still here. I'm not going to take you through all of the stuff, folks, because it's frankly too long to mention. When's the last time we've had that kind of manufacturing job growth? Decades. Barack Obama said those jobs would not come back. Get used to it. Understand this. New paradigm. America, not the place for manufacturing. And Trump's going, are you kidding? We're innovative to a fault. I love these rallies. Let's hear the rest of what he said.
We are joined by many, many people in the military and great American patriots. Thank you very much. Well, you remember the campaign. I said, let me begin by wishing each and every one of you a very Merry Christmas, right? And I can think of no better Christmas present for the American people than giving you a massive tax cut. That's what's happening. And your Senate and your House, hopefully, very shortly, will have those approvals. Those hands will go up, and you're going to be paying a lot less tax. So congratulations. I hope. They got to vote, and I think they will. I can't wait to sign that tax cut. Great for so many, but great for the middle class. We're going to put it into law. We're going to cap off an incredible first year in office. There's been no first year like this, or at least just about no. I think the answer is no, but I have to be very accurate because of the fake news back there. In our campaign for the presidency, we defied the pundits, the politicians, and the special interests because ours was a movement of the people, and it really was. It was a movement of you. It was a movement of the people. It was a movement to make America great again. And it's happening. That's happening. And by the way, how are your 401ks doing? Not too bad, right? Over the weekend, I was in New York City, and I love to say hello to our folks in uniform, whether it's the military, whether it's law enforcement. And we had people backstage, and I always want to take my time. And a man comes up. He was a police officer in New York City. First time anyone said this to me, he said, Mr. President, I want to thank you. My family thinks I'm a financial genius. My 401k is up 39% in 9 months.
There you go. Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It sounds like a bit of a broken record, but you know, you look at the accomplishments of this administration, particularly in comparison to Obama, and you get a real feel for things. Let me just go ahead and tell you what to expect. Barack Obama comes out and he says we had a longer period of job growth or whatever he wants to talk about. No, he didn't. It's a lie. He had a longer period of people who stopped looking for jobs. That's what he had. You're going to witness real job growth, and you're going to watch Tiger Woods type longevity in terms of just blowing Barack Obama's fake numbers out of the water. That's what you're about to see. Donald Trump, 2 quarters in a row, has the GDP over 3. Barack Obama never did it. 2 quarters in a row. And let me tell you what's about to happen. You're going to see a 3rd quarter in a row of the GDP being over 3. Then you're going to see the GDP approaching 4 or 5, just like Trump said. We have a clip of him talking about this where he says, yeah, I think, this GDP can go 4, 5. He goes, I don't want to say much more than that because then the media is going to, come down on me if we don't hit it. Because what he's saying is if it got to 5 and I tell you it could have got to 6, they're going to go, he told you it could get to 6, despite the fact that Barack Obama can't even get to 3. That's what he was saying. But you know why he said it? He goes, we'll get to 4, we'll get to 5. He knows we'll get to 4 or 5. He's not making conjecture. He knows it. Because he knows how the economy works. You don't have to be Nostradamus, folks, to look at some of these moves, some of the things that have happened that the media writes off. They don't want to talk about it. But you can, if you're astute, you're paying attention, you're watching this stuff, you're watching something masterful happen. You made this happen.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
What's up, everybody? Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. Another hour. Yeah. Hey, bad karma. What can I tell you? Lindsey Vonn goes down, hurts her back. Kevin Jackson Show. KJRadio.com. 844-551-8255. You better watch your mouth when you talk smack about Donald Trump. I talked earlier about Lindsey Vonn. Didn't mention that she'd gone down, but I was setting you up. See, Lindsey Vonn, I'm not going to be representing Donald Trump at the Olympics. I don't think you're going to be representing anybody at the Olympics, Lindsey. These people that think that Donald Trump's done nothing except help this country. And every time you turn around, some lefty that thinks that, this is the politically correct thing to say, finds himself up a creek in trouble. And Lindsey Vonn, karma. Let me tell you what karma is. Karma is really focusing on these leftists. Kathy Griffin, Weinstein, Spacey, all these mean, vile people. Franken. They say Franken was just a horrible guy to work with and work for. And now he's suddenly, we love Al Franken, he's gone. We'll talk more about him in a bit. Oh, man. Colin Kaepernick, you guys hear the news? Yeah, Colin Kaepernick got a job offer. You want to cover that? All right, let's talk about it. Piece of crap, Colin Kaepernick, the type of guy you would use the curb to get stuff off your shoe. He's what you get off your shoe. He's going to get a chance to kneel at professional football games. Yeah, he got a job offer. GQ's Citizen of the Year. Winner of the Sports Illustrated Muhammad Ali Legacy Award. Which he got handed the award by the cop hater, diva, Beyonce. All the single ladies, all the single ladies. He got his biggest honor of all in quite some time. A real live offer to play quarterback for a football team. A football team? He gonna play for a football team. Y'all love it when I screw up language. Be honest. It's okay. It's because I'm such a linguist. A cunning linguist. So he's got a starter's job. So when I saw this, I was like mad. Who did it? I thought we had collusion going on in the NFL. Who would dare? Give this man a job. Allow him to kneel. Yet again. Well, it's a rap artist, a dude named Jim Jones. Drinking the Kool-Aid, Jim Jones. Not that Jim Jones, a black Jim Jones. He purchased a minority share, pardon the pun, and Jim's a black man. He's a rapper of the Richmond Rough Riders. So Kaepernick could be suited up next year in the indoor football of the American Arena League. Y'all are like, oh no, say it ain't so, Kevin. Say it ain't so. No, Kaepernick still does not have an NFL job. Lawsuit still intact. Yep. So they say Jones is enthusiastic that he can meld hip-hop culture with arena football and provide the great prophet, Colin Kaepernick, a forum in which to deliver his message of social justice warring. You try to say warring. Warrioring. What's that? Utes. What's that? The two Utes. Oh, man. The Richmond Rough Riders just became America's most hated football team. Look, I don't watch NFL. So you can be doggone Skippy, I don't watch arena football. But I might have switched over to arena football. For example, like let's say I haven't watched the down of NFL football unless it's on CNN in the airport or something. I don't watch it. But for the sake of discussion, I might have watched arena football as like my methadone to heroin. But I don't have a heroin addiction to football anymore. I don't even have a Jones when Sunday morning comes. I don't go, oh man, I hate to be flipping channels. I don't flip the channels. I just do the guide. And when I'm flipping through channels, if it says so-and-so's playing so-and-so, I just skip right by it like it's, needlepoint or, like it's German feather, picking or something. It has zero interest for me. So it's not like I go, oh man, I got to fight the feeling. I don't have to fight the feeling. I know some of you still do. So Cowboys are America's team. I don't know if the Rough Riders, what they are, but they're going to be hated. And making money, why would you look? I get that he sees Kaepernick as some. Let me put it this way: what are the demographics of blacks watching arena football? I didn't even know the Arena Football League was still around. Did you? Did you think it? I didn't know it. I don't follow it. Anyway, I bet you a bunch of wealthy white people got together and made this deal and said, hey, Jim Jones, if you will make an offer for arena football just to get Colin in some pads to keep him in shape, we'll make it up to you. We'll give you a couple of stock tips, bro. I don't know. Gonna hand him the job. Here, Colin, take the job. It's yourn. It's your job. I'm gonna cheer against the Richmond. I hate this because I love the city of Richmond. In fact, I went to the Maggie Walker Museum there. It's so good. If you ever go, you got to go to that. Beautiful little downtown area. I mean, just a tribute, a little town, and got to check it out. But I can't cheer for their arena football team. Not right now. Not anymore. Not that I ever did. Karma. Colin got his offer. He wants to play. If he really wants to play football, he would entertain this offer seriously, right? Just saying it. You don't look a gift horse in the mouth. What y'all looking at me for? Look, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I don't know what the guy can offer him. $50K a year. It's more than what he's making. Now he can get back. Maybe he's a draw. Maybe people will really want to see Colin Kaepernick in the Arena Football League. That's kind of a step down from where he was. Folks, lots to talk about. Kevin Jackson Show. Back in.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful 4-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville, can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Before I get started here, any Russians? Is Ambassador Kislyak in the room? Before I get started here, any Russians? Anybody been to Russia? Got a cousin in Russia or something. So anyway.
Welcome back. I love it. Sessions was really funny there. Any Russians? Any cousins of Russians? Anybody thinking about going to Russia? Welcome back to the Kevin Jackson Show. KJRadio.com. You know, that's the funny thing about that is that's what is so good about what the spirit that we're in right now is. You can ridicule this stuff. Sessions is essentially saying, hey, they got this whole Russia thing going. Any Russians? Because I don't want to be accused of talking to Russians. I'm going to open my speeches that way from now on. I'm going to say, hey, any fellow brother Russians here? You know, if I'm a black Russian, whatever, admit it. Let me know. Okay, anybody here want to run for public office? Because I'm black Russian. You might want to get out now. Wow, how crazy has the world gotten? Chelsea Handler trying to talk smack to Sarah Sanders. You ever see Chelsea Handler, no exaggeration, has a video that she apparently doesn't care is out there. She's trying to get into a boat. She's swimming in a lake or ocean. And a guy's peeing on her off the bow of the boat. You know, and she's like, you know, putting her hands up. This woman, I think they said she's had 2 abortions by the time she was 16 years old. Can you even imagine what her life was like leading up to that and what it's been since? I mean, her claim to fame is that she's a Hollywood pass me around girl. That's putting it delicately. So this is just, I'm amazed. That she would actually want to get holier than thou with Sarah Sanders, you know, mother of 3, housewife, working for the president, you know, living life, what I think most people would believe is the American dream. And here's the sad part. Chelsea Handler's not a bad-looking woman. I mean, she's, you know, obviously been rode hard and put up wet, as we say in the country. but she's not a bad-looking woman. She's made some, I would say some choices maybe a lot of other women wouldn't have made. And by the way, I don't care if women, what your sexual history is and all that. But at some point, the light comes on and you say, okay, I want to be respectable. I'm just guessing. It does with guys. I mean, guys, you're actually almost encouraged to be, very promiscuous, right? But there comes a point where you're like, okay, kind of been there, done that. And you grow up. And it's not just, chasing this and that and whatever. But, I don't know. I'm putting it out there for you guys. 844-551-8255. Because I'm certainly not going to be moralizing on what people do with their bodies. And by the way, that includes conservative women. There are many, many amazing conservative women who, if you go back to their teen years when they were rebelling for whatever reason, they would be like, oh, no, Kevin, let's not go there. And that's okay. You don't have to feel bad about decisions you've made. At some point, you grew up. And the Bible talks about, when I was a child, I acted like a child. But when I became a man, I acted like a man or woman. I'm not saying a Caitlyn. I'm saying, women act like women, men act like men. Hey, for the record, that's just while we're talking on this subject, there are only two genders, okay? Let's just be clear. There are two genders. And sometimes people get a little mixed up. The body goes crazy and, you have these hermaphrodites that are a blend of the two genders. But there's still only two genders, male and female. What do they call it? The stamen and the what's the thing that impregnates the flower? Whatever. You get what I'm saying, right? Of course you do. I'm being very clear right now. Oh, what else do we want to talk about? I mean, there's so much, man. We could talk. This Democrat that made it. No, that would take too long. You know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about CNN. CNN. They get it wrong a lot. You've seen CNN. You've watched ABC. Get it wrong. You've watched almost every major lefty news outlet get something wrong recently. Whether it's, the timeline was wrong on that story we told about Donald Trump Jr., which is the latest. That was a CNN thing. Then you had ABC's Brian, Ross, who, does something else wrong, whatever that may be. And it's always, get this, it's always negative against Republicans. When they do that, it's like smoking gun. That was what it was with Brian Ross. General Flynn, he was told to contact the Russians before Donald Trump was president. He was told to make contact. And Brian Ross says it. And then, of course, Joy Behar gets it. We've got the smoking gun. Breaking news. And everybody's all excited. Woo, yay, we got him. We got him. We finally got that Trump. Then they go, oh, geez. No, it wasn't when he was not president. When he was a candidate. It was when he was president. And that sort of makes it all very different. Because it doesn't violate the Hatch Act or the Logan Act or any other act. Sister Act. It does nothing. It becomes no news. And then same thing happens. CNN says, Donald Trump Jr.'s email thread, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. And this was Brian Stelter or whatever. So CNN jumps the gun, says this was during this, that, and the other. And then Trump Jr. goes, the emails are released and you got the timeline wrong. And then CNN says, it was an honest mistake. It was honest. We knew, the timeline was 3 people. The timeline was in there 3 times. They could have checked it. Multiple people checked this stuff. But no, they're rushed to judgment. But let me ask you, when is the last time CNN majorly screwed up with the Democrats negatively? When? Now, I can give you plenty of times that they reported fake news on Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama, whether it's jobs numbers or whether it's Clinton polling numbers or whether it's anything, you name it. Many times that they've gotten it wrong with the Democrats. But when they get it wrong, it's never negatively in favor of the Democrats. It's always mysteriously positively in favor of the Democrats. Why is that? Do you have an answer? Anybody? I bet you do. I bet you have a sneaking suspicion, as I do, that CNN has an agenda. The New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, ABC, NBC, you name it, in the last 6 months to a year, every single one of them has had to make a retraction or an apology to somebody on the right, but they never have had to do it on the left.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
This is a Fox News alert. Documents obtained exclusively by this show a few hours ago show that yet another key player in the Mueller independent counsel investigation has deep ties to the Democratic Party establishment. His name is Aaron Zebley. He is described in media reports as Mueller's right-hand man. Back in 2015, Zebley was a lawyer in private practice, and he represented Hillary Clinton IT staffer Justin Cooper. Cooper is the one who, personally put in the Secretary of State's private illegal server in her Chappaqua home. Congressional investigators sought to meet with Cooper, but they were stonewalled again and again by Zebley. Documents that we obtained today show the frustration of the Senate Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee in trying to get to Mr. Cooper because, and we're quoting now, Mr. Zebley telephoned Homeland Security Committee staff to inform them that Cooper had chosen to cancel the interview. In a letter to Cooper, congressional investigators complained that, quote, "We are troubled by your attorney," referring to Zebley, "his complete refusal to engage the committee in a discussion about how to further assuage your concerns." Take that in for a minute. A lawyer who played a defense role in the federal investigation into Hillary Clinton is now playing an offensive role in the federal investigation into President Trump. This is not the first time the Mueller probe has been dogged by questions of partisanship. FBI official Peter Strzok, we've been telling you about all week, was removed from that probe, demoted to the HR office over at the FBI, following the discovery of anti-Trump text messages and pro-Hillary text messages he had sent to his mistress, also an FBI employee. The investigative team over there includes the Mueller team, Kyle Freeney, he's an Obama donor, and Jeannie Rhee, who once represented the Clinton Foundation. To make matters even messier for the Justice Department, by the way, a senior official recently demoted amid an investigation into his contacts with the opposition research firm that produced the now discredited Trump dossier. Initially, Justice Department officials would not provide the reason for the official's demotion, but details were later turned over by Congressman Devin Nunes, who found the official had met with Christopher Steele, the former British spy and author of the dossier, back during the last campaign. Boy, it's a lot to digest. All of it comes as FBI Director Chris Wray was grilled by Congress this afternoon. Take a look at part of that.
I'd ask you again, surely you've examined the definition and the distinction between extreme carelessness and also extreme carelessness and the gross negligence that's within the statute. You really going to tell us today that you don't have an opinion on that distinction?
Gross negligence is the language in the statute, I believe. But I believe also that almost anybody who grabbed a thesaurus would say that gross negligence and extremely careless are pretty darn close to each other.
So if they're close to each other, then why change it?
All right, everybody, welcome back. Kevin Jackson, that was Tucker Carlson, doing an intro before he brought in, was it Grassley? I don't remember who, but he brought somebody in after that to discuss it. But that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Now, I don't have to tell you this. If they had that much connective dots on something against you, you'd be in jail. And we are getting close to this. And I know it's torturous because we're saying, look, this is pretty much cut and dry. But it isn't with the least common denominators. And that brings me to why doesn't President Trump fire Mueller? And many people, Kevin, you should let him go. There's enough against him. And trust me, I get your notes and all. I get it. But Donald Trump does things differently, doesn't he? I mean, if there's anything you've learned about this man, he's not your typical strategy guy. His tactics baffle many people. Unconventional only begins to describe this man. And I'll use his tweeting as a first example. When Donald Trump started tweeting, almost every expert, every political person on the planet said he needs to stop. They recommended that he quit. And Trump said, he's like, a lot of people say I need to quit tweeting. He brought it up, and then he kept tweeting. In fact, he tripled down. He didn't double down. He tripled down. He split those aces. They dealt him some more aces up. Split them again. He tripled down. Now, let me ask you this. What do you find this tweeting is a tactic? You like it? You hate it? Let me tell you, the majority of the people have softened on Trump's tweeting. The ones that went, he needs to stop it, Kevin, are now saying, you know what, I don't always like what he says, but, I see why he does it. Yeah, you're starting to get it. So when Mueller was selected as special prosecutors, many Americans, including myself, were skeptical. I was skeptical because I said, Comey recommended him. Oh, Mueller. Oh, my gosh. He's the most clean cut. He's the best. How could we possibly do any better than him? And I went, Mueller's a skunk. Comey giving him that kind of credit means he knows something's up. And what have we learned about Mueller? He went to Hillary Clinton's butt-kicking party after the election, probably licked her buttocks, helped her get it, get everything all, the wounds needed to heal. So Mueller helped her out. Maybe Al Franken was there to pat her on her bum too. I don't know. Maybe John Conyers joined him. But Mueller, we've learned, is a Democrat. He hangs out with Obama. He and Comey are best buddies. Comey covered for the Democrats and Hillary Clinton. And then he goes to Hillary's party. Then what did he do? Mueller almost immediately started stacking the deck with people who supported Hillary Clinton. You people were all over. Kevin, he's stacking the deck with people who love Hillary. I said, that's okay. Y'all were mad. I wrote about it. I said, look, Mueller's got this part. These are obvious conflicts. And people, Kevin, it's a conflict. I don't understand why he's doing it. Donald Trump hasn't said a word. And I wrote back. I said, Donald Trump isn't saying a word, and there's a reason for it. That's right. Stacking the deck with pro-Hillary, anti-Trump, Trump haters. And people, Kevin, it's going to backfire. Why is he doing this? Mueller's going to rake him over the coals and blah, blah, blah. And I said Trump did the right thing in not fighting against Mueller. And people, Kevin, you're crazy, man. What are you talking about? He's going to get him. You know how the deep state is? Obama's got that big OFA organization, all that money. They're all against him. He's got people in the swamp. He still hasn't drained the swamp. Y'all gave me everything. Then the left baited Donald Trump. You know what they baited him with? Fire Mueller. You need to fire that guy. They were saying it. They were the ones spinning this stuff. President Trump may fire Robert Mueller. Y'all remember that? There wasn't a leftist rag on the planet that didn't say President Trump might be considering firing Mueller. It will be hell to pay if he fires Mueller. They were doing it. It sounds like that. There'll be hell to pay. He better not, because they thought he was going to just go, what do you mean I better not fire him? I'll fire him. I'll do whatever I want to do. You can't tell me what to do. You can't tell me what to do. This would be the greatest thing ever. The greatest thing I've ever done. Yeah, I could do this. You just watch. You watch and see. I'll do it. But they baited him. Fire him. We dare you. We dare you to fire him. And Trump was like, no, it's okay. And it freaked them out. They didn't know what to do. Totally freaked out. Why is he not firing Mueller? We've given him ammo. Why is he not taking it? You guys know why? Yeah. What do you find yourselves right now in this investigation? Is Mueller investigating Trump? Who's he investigating? Who's under investigation? I'm just asking. I want an answer. Because you know who's under investigation? Mueller and his entire crooked team. That bogus organization, that bogus investigation is in a heap of trouble. Here's what the Daily Caller said. An attorney for special counsel Robert Mueller attended Hillary's election night party in New York. Andrew Weissman's attendance at the party is one of the many signs pointing to a troubling bias from the attorney. Weissman has been described by the New York Times as Mueller's lieutenant and pit bull. I said Mueller when it was his lieutenant. Conservative watchdog group Judicial Watch obtained an email Tuesday that revealed Weissman praised former acting Attorney General Sally Yates' defiance of Trump. I'm so proud and in awe. Thank you so much. All my deepest respects. That's what he wrote to Yates on January the 30th. It followed her instructions to the DOJ not to defend the executive order banning immigration from 7 nations, an act that led to her dismissal by President Trump. Now, Weissman is one of several Democratic donors that have been hired by Mueller, a registered Republican. That's a shill. The special counsel's pit bull donated $6,600 to the presidential campaigns of Obama and Hillary Clinton. This probe has been criticized by Trump allies, but the White House maintains Donald Trump has no intention to fire Mueller. That's so funny. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said in October that Mueller's investigation would end, quote, soon. So the man investigating President Trump is a friend of Hillary Clinton. He's loaded his investigation with big supporters of Hillary Clinton.
Radio Network.
You can't.
Do you owe back
unlevel
taxes to the
playing
IRS
field
or
more
state?
than this.
The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. We're talking about why President Trump won't fire Robert Mueller. You want it. You've asked for it. You got it, Toyota. No, he's not going to fire him. Why would he fire him? Mueller is doing him a favor. It's like when Gloria Allred took over the case for this lady that accused Roy Moore of being 40 years ago doing something to her. And Roy Moore can fight. But, there's a number of people who will believe you. If somebody said, Kevin kissed a dog once. Well, I kissed my dog when I was younger. But, whatever. He did something. There's going to be a contingent of people who believe it. They don't have to have any evidence. Nothing. It happened. End of story. And so Roy Moore is caught up in that. And then we find out after she hires Gloria Allred and they produce this fake book, we find out the chick is a fraud. Well, I did alter his signature. Well, what else did you do? Maybe you just lied. So what did that, quote, investigation do? It spiraled in on itself like what liberalism does. Leftism spirals in on itself. So now people go, what? She lied about the yearbook? That was the centerpiece evidence for everybody. The anti-Trumpers. I can't believe Donald Trump supporting a sexual abuser, a guy who does sexual misconduct. I can't believe it. This is awful. And so they find out this lady lied. Now I'm watching guys like Ben Shapiro go, oh, so she lied. Well, blah, blah, blah. They got excuses. What's the excuse? The excuse is you automatically assumed that Roy Moore was guilty. Why? Because he's a Christian. or because of your hatred of Trump. How could the president do this? He needs to wait. Look at all this, what's going on with Franken and all. These other people have proven allegations. They've paid people off. They're in pictures. Roy Moore has 40-year-old allegations that have never come up in 8 times that he's run for public office. And the time when he can run for an office that makes a difference at the national level, suddenly things come up. And worse than that, the Democrats go, well, the never Trumpers and all these so-called conservatives that are over here being all sanctimonious, pretending that the Democrats don't cheat. No, it isn't even a possibility that the Democrats are bringing all this up for no reason, knowing it's a lie. That's not a possibility. Is it Ben Howe? Is it Ben Shapiro? What's with all these Bens that are the naysayers? Brutus Judases. That's who they are. Stab you in the back or deny you. Unbelievable. So all you got to do in these leftist, investigation, call them whatever you want. All you got to do is let them play out. And if you're one of these conservatives that wants to, look, I don't know whether Moore did it or not, but I'll tell you this, I don't know whether he did it or not, which means I don't believe her either. And if you want to bring something up 40 years later, oh yeah, he tried to do something or he pinched me on the butt or whatever. You know what? The statute of limitations has gone on that. I'm just telling you, it's gone. There's a reason why they have this thing called statute of limitations. It's because they say, look, if you haven't come forward by now, you maybe wanted it. You maybe were okay with it. There was a lady, she sent me a note. I have to play it. And she says she's for the man being in control and all this. And she says, Kevin, you agree with that? That's not what I agree with. I am for equal. Women want the benefit of the doubt, but women fought to become equal to men. There was a time in my life where I would have given the woman the benefit of the doubt. Because that's the way men were. If a woman came up to me and said, Kevin, one of your staffers did this to me, I would be like, wow, really? And I would believe that. I would believe it to the point of saying, I'm going to go ask my staffer what's going on here. But now, if a woman came up to me and said that, I'd be like, really? You got to give me more proof. I'm not just taking your word for it. Because women fought for that. They want that right. I'm just telling you, I don't have any dog in the fight anymore. Prove it. So, people can look at me any way they want. I'm not the conservative man exalts women. Let me make one correction. If a conservative woman said to me something happened, I'd believe her. If a leftist woman said to me something happened, I don't believe her. I'll be clear. That's just the way it is for me. Leftist women are worse than, they are the people that fake their pregnancies. They are the people who will sell you down the river. They will kill you for your insurance policy. I could go on. No, I don't believe them. But these people that went on a witch hunt for Roy Moore, shame on you. Well, Kevin, we have to take a policy where we just have to believe the victim. Well, the victim in this case is Roy Moore. And what played out? What played out in this little scenario with the left, this trap that they tried to set for Roy Moore? What played out was they entrapped themselves. They ensnared themselves. And now Mueller is in the same situation. He's begun firing the very people he handpicked. And the more we learn about these lecherous leftists, the more the Mueller investigation unravels. And soon, Mueller's going to be investigating himself. And you know what he's going to have to do without Donald Trump doing anything? He's going to have to recuse himself. Now, what happens when that happens? What credibility does Trump have? I asked this question. What's Mueller found? He has people who want to see President Trump go down, and yet they have nothing. Think about this. Donald Trump says, pick Mueller. We love Mueller. Okay, great. You got Mueller. What's next? He's going to stack the deck against you, Mr. Trump. And sure enough, he did. And Trump goes, big deal. I'm not guilty of anything. Stack the deck. Put in all you want. Trump didn't say, I think it needs to be balanced, man. There's not enough Republicans on there. He says, no, stack it. So Mueller did exactly that. People who love Hillary Clinton, hate Donald Trump, are now on their witch hunt, and they're going down the primrose path. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. And what's going on? Now they're in big trouble, and Mueller's investigation is spending all its time trying to cover up for Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, James Comey, Susan Rice, the FBI in general, and now the El Jefe, the head white man in charge. That would be Robert Mueller. He's got to play cover his own butt. You know how much covering of your butt you have to do in the government? Because guess what, folks? There's always somebody against you in that government. No matter how much swamp Donald Trump drains, he's still going to have people that are operatives for the Democrat. That's okay. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. As they said of Watergate, folks, the cover-up was far worse than the crime. As such is the case here as well. And I predicted it. I foretold that Mueller's investigation would be the undoing of the left. I told them the way this has been set up, Donald Trump was saying, here's your investigation, and oh, by the way, here's a rope. I've gone ahead and taken the liberty of tying the noose for you. So they went after him with everything, guns a-blazing. Stroke, whatever these people's names are, and including Mueller, and they've come out with nothing. And I told people Donald Trump will come out smelling like a rose. The more dung they throw on him, it's like he's got on a Teflon suit. Poof. He just adjusts his jacket, and everything comes out like he's been sprayed with Renews-It. So where does the left go? Mueller was already under fire. Yeah, the left were going, at 73 years old, Mueller has a record that shows a man of fallible judgment who can be slow to alter his chosen course. At times, he was intimidated or provoked resentment among subordinates, and his tenacious yet linear approach to evaluating evidence led to the fumble the biggest U.S. terrorism investigation since 9/11. Yeah, they're like, why haven't you indicted this man, Robert Mueller? And Mueller's going, I got enough problems. So he's gone after Donald Trump's, records for his taxes and financial empire and all this stuff. And then they've lied and said they were looking at Donald Trump's bank. That wasn't the case. But the left want Mueller to do his job, arrest Donald Trump. So he made the move on Flynn to buy himself some time. But he doesn't have enough money, nor does he have enough time to help him out of this situation. Mueller picked the dream team of investigation, and President Trump scoffs at him. Actually, he's laughing at him. And the Democrats' recent attempt to take the moral high ground on this Al Franken thing is just a feeble attempt to make them look as if they're admirable people. But we know they're not. Mueller is now a patsy. He's going to be left holding the bag.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It is the Kevin Jackson Show. KJRadio.com, 844-551-8255. 844-551-8255. Sorry to go all William Shatner on you, but I started off kind of Asian. 844-551-8255. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are with me. You know what? The crazy world that we live in, crazy. I'm talking cray-cray. Yeah, we have talked about a lot of stuff. Growing up, the theme here was growing up. What's changed? What changed? Are you noticing differences between the way you grew up, where things are now? Like the education system. Is it different? It's different to me. The way we think about one another, different to me. The way we look at sports figures, different to me. The way we look at comedy, different now. And I could go on. There's hardly anything. And don't misunderstand me. I understand things have to move forward and, progress in so many ways. I'm not talking about progress in that progressive kind of way. I'm just saying we move forward. TV is no longer get up and change the channel. We push a button now. Click, click, click. It's multiple, it's multiple channels. And, you're sitting there going, what do I watch? What do I watch? Half of it, you don't even care. So the way we get the news delivered to us, the way we engage with one another, with, Facebook and Twitter and teapartycommunity.org, by the way, go to teapartycommunity.org if you want to interface with me or be a part of something big. But Snapchat, Instagram, all these different things, these ways, text and, phone text, you can call. Now, I don't have to have your phone number. If you are registered with Facebook, I can call you through Facebook Messenger. You'll soon be able to do that with Tea Party Community as well, .org, teapartycommunity.org. But, everything's different. And so what happened? Some of it you may like, but a lot of it you don't. What are the subtle changes in the last 10 years? In the last 10 years, where do you see things? I see things much more left-leaning. Corporations are left-leaning. Look at the NFL, allowing people that work for them, employees, to be completely disruptive and doing nothing. Roger Goodell gets his contract renewed for $200 million. You think this dude's an athlete. You would think the NFL is actually doing a good job. I hope they put a clause in there that says if you can't get these numbers up, we get our money back and some of that other money we gave you. It's crazy out there. We can't convict an illegal who shot and killed a woman for whatever reason. We can't even convict him for manslaughter. Not in the state of California, Kate. They don't want to do it. Why? Because the narrative is he's a good guy. Kate Steinle, well, she's just a tax-paying citizen out walking with her dad. She was experiencing white privilege. He, on the other hand, was an oppressed bean picker from Mexico who found a gun and decided to, quote, shoot at a seal. The trained seals, who was he shooting at? California citizens? Oh, besides Kate Steinle. Now get this. You want some justice? A Florida man got 15 years in prison for smashing out a window at a mosque or a door or whatever, and he left bacon behind the scenes. I should say at the scene. Left bacon behind as an evidence. Not bacon behind like pork butt. He left bacon over there. Look at me like, I know there was a joke in there, but I wasn't looking for one. 15 years for bacon vandalism, but 0 years for killing a woman. I get it. Yeah, if you're illegal and you kill Kate Steinle, you go free. But if you're legal, a citizen, and you smash a window at a mosque, you get 15 years, probably serving with the Muslim Brotherhood somewhere. That's how crazy it's gotten in the world. Obama says he is the reason for this economy. He says, the very same guy that said Trump needed a magic wand to save Carrier, and then he asked him how he's going to do it, and then Trump gives him the answer. Well, I'm going to reduce taxes on corporations. I'm going to reduce the onerous legislation that's, impacted or impeded businesses doing their own thing. And he went on to say, look, I know businesses need to follow rules, environmental rules and safety rules. But a lot of the other rules that you put in place are completely counter to business. And if we get rid of those, what can we do? We can bring jobs back. Then what does Donald Trump do? He brings jobs back. And in bringing jobs back, Barack Obama like, what's he going to do? Use a magic wand? Yeah, that's what he's going to do. He's going to use a magic wand by reducing taxes, getting rid of crazy legislation that you've put into place that's killing them, like Obamacare and some of these other things that are going on, climate change nonsense. So what happens? Businesses can come back because they're able to make more money. They don't have those legislations. Those legal barriers that get in their way so they can focus on their business. And also Donald Trump is saying very, very succinctly, I don't care about your political correctness. America's about America. If that means keeping terrorists out, let's do it. And there are people that want to impeach this man. Yeah. Lots of people out there. And they've grown up in an America these leftists have, that has given them everything. They've watched America give black people everything, Latinos everything, women everything, even Muslims everything, and they do nothing but complain. They don't see the craziness. And don't misunderstand me. I'm not defending this guy for attacking a mosque. I'm not. I don't like mosque. I don't like the idea. I don't care about mosque in the sense of if Muslims were like the Amish and they were moderate people, and minded their own business and weren't trying to kill us. I wouldn't care at all. I don't care about all these other religions that are out there. I've never said, I wish the FBI would raid an Amish compound, because I don't care what they do. They're not mean people. Muslims are mean people. They just want to get a foothold, and they prove it every single day. Go to any country where these people live in their enclaves, and you have what's called a no-go zone. So I'm just looking at it practically. Somebody has to sound the alarm bell. And my team is it. The ministry of Kevin Jackson, if you want to call it that. We've signed up to say we're willing to say the ugly truth. We got to watch this stuff. How does a citizen get 15 years for pretty much what I would call frat boy vandalism, and a guy walks free when he's, doing what this guy did, Zarate? Just makes no sense. Lots to talk about, folks, when we get back. You're listening to the Kevin Jackson Show. Keep it in.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful 4-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville, can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
He was hoisting an American flag up the flagpole in his front yard. And I instantly felt very weird. It didn't make sense, but I felt this feeling of I felt scared. Yeah, I felt scared.
Welcome back, everybody. That was Sarah Silverman, funny girl on the left, or so they say. And she's talking about this boyfriend she was dating, and she says he was hoisting an American flag. And I was like, oh, he's hoisting an American flag. Oh, my gosh, what happens? Oh, what should I do? Oh, no. And I was thinking, boy, lucky for her, he was not hoisting a Confederate flag. Because, whoa, they would have to check her into the insane asylum. Sarah could not have handled that. I bet she would have reported him. My boyfriend, He's got a Confederate flag. Get here quick. Quick. My life is in danger. Yeah, Sarah would have been scared to death. Would have been warning all of her black friends and her Jewish friends. Oh, well, she's Jewish. She's Jewish. You never know. You never know. What's going to occur with the left? Anyway, lots to talk about. We've talked about a lot. Covered karma, Lindsey Graham. Ooh, not good there. They say more. Okay, for those of you who don't know, Lindsey Vonn, skier, said she didn't like Donald Trump, wasn't going to represent him at the Olympics. Now she's not going because she hurt her back in a ski accident. Karma. Look at all the people the karma is hurting. The Kathy Griffins and George Lopez and people who want to cut Trump's head off, things like that. Almost to a person. Any one of these people that talk smack against Donald Trump, here comes the pale horse. And the man who sat on him was death. Ooh, it's ugly out there for them. Leftists. I say to leftists, you know what? Y'all need to just pray a little bit. Just pray. But we are having a wonderful time, no matter what. So the New York Times says the GOP is rotting. Did you see this story? They say that the GOP is rotting. Perhaps. See, the thing about it is most of the conservatives that I know, we're GOP because it's the party we have to go to. But let me tell you who's not rotting. Let me tell you who's already rotten to its core. These Democrats. Rotten to their evil core. And so you can say, oh, so-and-so's this, that, and the other. We started fixing our problems in 2016. By what? June, July, August of 2016, it was done. The GOP was, as we knew it, was over. There's a new Republican Party being led by a true conservative, somebody you're not going to always agree with. Let's get used to that. But somebody who's exposed every negative thing about this system that we're involved in right now. President Trump's looking into the Pentagon. Trillions of dollars have gone missing in the Pentagon. And he's looking for it. His speech, where he goes, oh my goodness, we got a long way to go, but we started draining the swamp. I loved it. His rally that he held in Pensacola, he's like, you know what? This was so much worse than we thought, but you know what? We're fixing it. We're starting to fix it. Everything, even foreign policy. Nikki Haley, what did she say? We have that clip.
United will not be lectured to by countries that lack any credibility when it comes to treating both Israelis and Palestinians fairly.
But the truth of the matter is we won't be lectured to about anything. What are you talking about? There's a reason why this country is looked upon as the best. It isn't because we have newer infrastructure or our cities are prettier than those, the buildings are prettier and bigger than those in Dubai or whatever. It's because of what we stand for. That's the reason. Boy, it's just so much going on. It's the idea that we're rotting. The FBI has been proven to be a shill of the Democrat Party. Obama fixed elections. You want to talk about manipulated elections? Obama, OFA, the DNC, all of them did. Brought in the NSA and the FBI, etc. He should be in prison. And yet he runs around the world taking credit for Trump's moves. We come up a little later in the broadcast. I don't think we have time right now, but there's a talk of the rigged system, and Donald Trump talked about the system being rigged when he was in Pensacola. And a congressman named David Cicilline says, yeah, Trump's the one that the system's rigged for. I want to get into that. I want to talk about Chris Matthews saying that the Democrats are so pure, it'll make you laugh. The feigned, sympathy and outrage over Franken resigning in the Senate, as if he was the as they call him, the giant of the Senate. That was his book. I called him the giant douche of the Senate. And I could go on. These people are crazy. Representative Terry Sewell, she gets asked a question on Roy Moore, doesn't give an answer. This guy, as I mentioned just a second ago, David Cicilline, he doesn't give an answer. He immediately goes into the so-called issues surrounding the Republicans. Subterfuge. These people don't know what to do. But it's good for us. I was thinking about the sexual abuse victims because they still want to trot these out. Who was it just recently said Donald Trump needed to resign? I told you that was going to be their tactic, by the way. I told you they would say, well, we've cleaned our house. Now, look at Trump. He's got those people. Why hasn't he resigned? And we know the answer. I'm not going to bore you with the details. But here's the thing. If you were to add up all these so-called sexual victims, accusers of Trump and Moore and a handful of others, you could throw in O'Reilly's and Roger Ailes, you would still not make a dent in Bill Clinton's trail of tears and the victims that he's left behind. I contacted Juanita Broderick. She's going to be talking to me here pretty soon. I just told her I wanted to have a relaxed conversation. She's got a new book coming out. I want to talk to her about the book and just this whole thing that she sees. I want to find out more about her. Was she a Democrat in the past when she had a run-in with Clinton? Did she switch over? What's been her perception since then? How have people treated her? Things like that. So she and I are going to get together sometime during the holidays. I don't know when we'll be able to get her on the show, but she said after the 18th, when her book releases and she does some other stuff, we'll talk then. I want to talk to Corey Lewandowski about his book, Let Trump Be Trump. I talked to him early about it before it came out when I was in the green room in New York, but I want to find out what he's about these days. And, just give you guys some inside baseball. I'll be headed to L.A. soon for a couple of reasons. Going into talk to some friends of mine about movie. We're going to be doing our movie premiere of Bleeding Blue. And you can go check that out at bleedingblue.com and a host of other things. So all that's coming up. But I'm going to be there and I'm going to talk to some folks that, inside again. I don't want to talk. It's not just about politics. I want to talk about these formative things. What made them think the way they think.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Quite a speech from the senator who, up until a couple of weeks ago, believed that he could still keep his job. Right, and it's a big blow to the Democratic Party writ large. There are a lot of long faces around here today. Al Franken is one of very few Democrats in Congress who can truly claim to have had a nationwide progressive profile. He had a national voice. He was sought after as a campaign surrogate, and he was even viewed as someone who could potentially run for president in 2020. So to have him fall so fast in just a matter of weeks is very disappointing to the entire party.
God, I wish we had some sad music to play in behind that. Welcome, everybody. Kevin Jackson. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. The Democrats, CBS, that was CBS, and they're lamenting the loss of Al Franken because I'm good enough and I'm smart enough and doggone it. What was it, Stuart Smiley? Something like that he used to do on Saturday Night Live. This guy is a buffoon. If the Democrats hung their hopes on Al Franken, they are the party of knuckleheads, which they already are that, so no problem there. A nationwide progressive profile? Congratulations. You know what that got Hillary Clinton? A buttocks kicking? Potential presidential candidate? Really? His loss is a disappointment to the party? What kind of planet are these fools on? What the Democrats are doing, they were playing, as I said to you guys, look, no secret here. Let's get rid of Franken. He's a senator, and I thought it was going to be a contested seat. They say no, he'll win easily. I don't think it's going to be as easy as they say. By the way, before we get more on Franken, they say they're not even going to replace Conyers for a year. That just tells you they've conceded. There's nothing they can do in the House. They're not even going to bother. It's just going to be another stooge, another Congressional Black Caucus new stooge. What they're going to try to figure out is, who do we really want? Because Conyers' son, it turns out he's a wife beater and a bunch of other stuff. But he really, and a wannabe rapper. And that's who Conyers recommended. I recommend my son that you take a look at him. How about Farrakhan? He's got nothing. Oh, he doesn't live in Michigan, though. He can move. I'm sure there's a Nation of Islam branch in Michigan. I know there's one in Illinois, because I saw a bunch of them when I was at an event. Anyway, yeah, so back to Al Franken. And I know this is old news, but I want to make sure you understand that people are trying to make this as something we should take seriously. The Democrats are fixing themselves. Here's what Trevor Noah had to say about this. The hack comic from South Africa.
Is we have to give dignity. So please stop tweeting Densher Donald. I beg you, please. Okay, now that we've handled that, let's move on to the big news of the day. Senator Al Franken announced that he will resign after 8 women accused him of sexual misconduct. And he said what many people were thinking.
Today I am announcing that in the coming weeks, I will be resigning as a member of the United States Senate. I, of all people, am aware that there is some irony in the fact that I am leaving while a man who has bragged on tape about his history of sexual assault sits in the Oval Office, and a man who has repeatedly preyed on young girls campaigns for the Senate with the full support of his party.
Yeah, regardless of how you feel about Al Franken, he does have a point. The Democrats are draining their swamp, while Republicans are installing a jungle gym in Roy Moore's new office. Because if Al Franken was a Republican, for better or worse, he would still have his job.
Where do you start on this? Here's what I can tell you about Trevor Noah. Not funny. I mean, the way they pick these guys, they picked Trevor Noah because Obama was popular. He's a half black, half white South African who laments his blackness, comes to America and jumps right onto the pity party as he's making millions of dollars. That's how Trevor Noah rolls. That's how he operates. And so what Franken said, it's so many things that you just want to reach out and slap these guys. A president who bragged on tape about his history of sexual assault. He did not do that. Franken knows that. Donald Trump told the absolute truth of what happens when you are a billionaire playboy. Women throw themselves at you. They will let you do anything. And he was talking about leftist women. He's not talking about Melania. He didn't marry a chick like that, but he knows they exist. And he's seen it with his own eyes. And oh, by the way, so is Franken. And so have the women who support Al Franken because, ironically, they're it. They're the ones the groupies. They write songs about these girls. So Franken, they all want to act all sanctimonious. The president of the country, he's a wretched, blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you something. As I've said many times, and I'll say it again, give the majority of the men that I know the kind of money and the upbringing of Trump, and you got drug addicts, you got womanites, you got a very different picture than this guy. Yeah, he's been married 3 times. Makes no bones about it. Trump's not afraid of dating women and being seen with beautiful women. He's been around them his entire life. There is nothing new under the sun. I can tell you this. Donald Trump sees a beautiful woman and he goes, wow, she's beautiful. And he moves on because he's seen that many of them. And I'll tell you something else he's seen that people don't want to talk about. He's seen the very thing that there's been jokes made about this. You get a guy who works his entire, like he's working hard to get some beautiful girl. She's his dreamboat. All right. And he finally gets her, sleeps with her or whatever. And within a few months, his buddies say, hey man, how's it like with your supermodel? And he's like, she's just another nag to me or whatever. That's one of these misogynist jokes, but it's a funny joke because essentially once he's gotten her, it's like, she's just a beautiful nag. And, moving on, I have a friend, no lie, the true story. I was buying a home years ago. It was my first home. And this girl, her name was Cassandra, very pretty lady. She's showing me homes and finally sells me a home. Well, I took my buddy who was in from Oklahoma I said, hey, you want to come out with me to go walk the house? And Cassandra's waiting on me, blah, blah, blah. So we go out, and as soon as we go inside, the model, there's Cassandra, and my friend sees her, and he is tongue-tied. And he's a good-looking guy, seeing lots of women. He's like, So we leave, and he's like, dude, who is that? And I'm like, that's Cassandra. He's like, oh, man, Kev, you got to, let her know. So I'm running wingman. So I said, hey, Cassandra, my buddy, he kind of, took a shine to you. Would you mind going out? He'd like to ask you out, but he's a little bit, afraid. No, she goes, he's a really attractive guy. Sure, I'll go out with him. So they go out a few times. And so he was then coming to town without me knowing. So they start dating, and about a month after they're dating, he's coming into town going, don't let Cassandra know I'm here. I'm like, why? I thought she was Miss Woohoo. I'm all goo goo gaga. Yeah, he's like, oh man, she's like all needy, and it was over. I'm telling you right now, as God is my witness, I'd never seen this dude, this goo goo gaga over a woman, and rightfully so. She's attractive, making lots of money. Cassandra was the type of chick you go, hey, that's the one you want to take home to mom. And the minute he's now with her, it's done. And so Donald Trump knows that better than anybody. This dude, growing up with money, and as I said, you can judge on his looks, but he's not a bad-looking guy. And let me tell you, money makes you look a lot better. So people know that's Trump. If you want to tell me this guy had it's insane. Quite honestly, it's insulting that Al Franken would even say something that's silly. And then he goes on to Roy Moore. Now, we've already seen that Roy Moore's accuser says, oh, yeah, I did fudge Roy Moore, my yearbook. Now, she's admitted to that. She tried to make his signature look like something different and to make that relationship more than what it was. She's admitted to this, and these leftists, knowing their history, are still trying to say, well, the president is sitting there, and then they want to bring in this new senator, and I've got to resign. Big crybaby. And then Trevor Noah says, the Democrats are draining their own swamp. No, they're not. The Democrats haven't done anything. They haven't changed. They're fundamentally identically the same as they were from before Al Franken resigned till now. They're the people that created a fake narrative against a candidate that they hope would win so they could continue to do the things that they're doing. You can bet this. If Hillary Clinton had been elected president, we would be hearing about none of this. Franken would be the senator. Nobody would care about this. The Weinstein stuff would go away. All these issues, FBI, we'd never know the level of crookedness that we've been dealing with. But they want to pawn themselves off as they're so good. I'm going to play a Chris Matthews clip when we come back and show you what this knucklehead said. You probably heard it by now, but it's worth reviewing.
Kevin Jackson on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Ask you the same question. Do you think the American public see the difference between the two parties? That one publicly and with some pain have expressed a belief in women's rights to not being bothered by men, and that it cost them a senator they respected a lot, who spoke their language a lot, and they're willing to show that even they care about this issue enough to sacrifice somebody basically like this that they could have used in further arguments. And the Republican Party, which we just heard from the cynical voices of Newt Gingrich and Laura Ingraham, I mean, these people are quite openly saying they're not going to use that standard. They're not even going to apply the standard. Jason, your thoughts about the possibly positive education that the public are. I don't know how you can avoid the education in this. The worst you can say about the Democrats is they're too pure. And that's the stupid thing to say, but that's the worst thing you can say about it. And these guys set too high a standard for public office. How's that for an argument? My opponents, the party of my opposition, they set too high a standard. You know, come on. What do you think?
Welcome back, everybody. What do you think? Have the Democrats set too high a standard for office, Bill Clinton? Have the Democrats set too high a standard of office, Hillary Clinton? Have the Democrats set too high a standard of office, Susan Rice? I mean, how many Democrats do you need to go through? Conyers? Franken? A high standard. There's a high bar to get over for you to be a Democrat. Oh, boy. Ooh, you don't want to try to do that. They're just too pure. That's what what's his name? Chris Matthews. That's what he wants us to believe. The Democrats are too pure. And we wonder why they completely ignore the obvious scandals in Obama's scandal-free administration, right? And what about everything that's been revealed over the past year about these scoundrels? We talked about this, but it's worth repeating. Debbie Wasserman Schultz colluded with the Clinton campaign against other Democrats. I mean, think about that. Other Democrats were her target. Then, as we know, her days are not over in the public eye. Debbie will come back. She's going to face scrutiny about her involvement with the Alwan brothers. And you guys heard me. I said I think Debbie was involved in some sort of a sexual tryst with them. They had more dirt than the normal on Debbie. Y'all think I'm playing? Debbie Wasserman Schultz probably has some, sex tapes. I hate to be speculating on things, but you cannot let these people have unfettered access to the data, Democrats' data, fight to not get them fired, fight to get your computers back, threatening to fire Capitol Hill police, and on, getting yourself more and more intertwined in the nonsense, the malfeasance that happened with these people, knowing their background, their ties to the Muslim Brotherhood. Something bigger is going on here. And my suspicion is little Debbie was like Debbie doing D.C. You know what I'm saying? And then what about Donna Brazile? She takes over the DNC. She comes in at a time where she's like, okay, it's Trump versus Hillary. I got to help Hillary. So she's giving her information on the debates. But then as she digs into what's going on with the DNC, she starts to notice, wait a minute, Hillary's being crooked. Why are we doing beholding having to check with Hillary on all this other stuff? What is this donation that Hillary made to the DNC, but then she gets to call the shots? And what is all this crooked stuff going on with Bernie? And of course, then there's Bernie. Bernie sold out. He said, you know what? I'm willing to get out because, I'm a socialist and I want to help America, but I want to help these people, to help these kids and stuff. But, it's crooked, but I better get out. Give me my money. So he takes his money. I know I sound more like Jackie Mason, but there's a difference in the Jewish accents. Jackie Mason's more like this here, whereas Bernie Sanders talks more like this. Not that, like this. He sort of drags things out like this, like Gru. But Jackie Mason talks a lot like this. He talks like he's got bubbles in his mouth. Not that I'm making any distinctions here. Okay, so what else we got? Barack Obama. He concocts a story. Well, a group of people, they concoct a story about Russian involvement in our elections after Barack Obama says, ain't no way the Russians could interfere. I mean, come on now, y'all. And then they told us, well, whoever loses the election should just concede and everything should be okay. And, anyone who would dare say that it was unfair and all that is just thwarting the entire, election system. And, of course, that's exactly what they do. So meanwhile, while the DNC, Hillary are colluding and concocting Russian stories, but then saying that the Russians can interfere, we find out that the people who are interfering are all tied back to the Podesta group when they were working with Paul Manafort and so on and so forth. But they want to put it all on Donald Trump. Now we've got Russian hackers and everything, and that's how the election was lost on Hillary's part. It wasn't because of Hillary. And then forget colluding with the Russians. We talked about this before as well. What about colluding with the NSA and the FBI and what Barack Obama, Susan Rice, and all of this team did to set up General Flynn, to use evidence gathered illegally to put him in have him twisting in the wind, all to try to get to Trump, which they still haven't and never will. But what about the collusion of that? Who authorized that? Where is that trail going to lead? We all know where it leads. And then when they get caught, well, what do? They use the FBI to cover it up. They put their guy in, Mueller. He covers for, they had Comey there, but Mueller then covers for all of Comey's, mishandling. Could you mishandle the case of Hillary Clinton any better? Could you lie more effectively than Comey to the people's face? What have we found out that this dude lied to? Well, we didn't take any notes during the meetings. We didn't put Hillary Clinton under oath. We didn't swear her in. We didn't put her before Congress so she'd have to answer these questions. Then, what do we find out about Mueller's team? The person who was heading it up, a person that Mueller brought to his team, was a crooked guy who loved Hillary Clinton, donated to her campaign, hated Donald Trump, and he led every step of that investigation. And these guys want to talk about, Chris Matthews says they're pure? Find me a bureaucrat in D.C. under the Obama administration who was pure. And let me tell you why that's almost impossible. Because once you get a government job and you're making $150,000, $200,000 a year to do absolutely nothing, why would you fight that? You won't believe this, but I'm going to tell you a little secret. There are people in government jobs right now who run more successful businesses outside of their government jobs simultaneously. They go to work, they have their computer up, but they have another computer that they use to do whatever business they're doing. They run cell phone businesses, they're on their cell phone talking about their other business while they're drawing that fat government check. Then they got that fat government pension. And probably the business that they're running, believe it or not, is a business that relies on information they get from the government or products. Did you hear about this warehouse they had in D.C.? It was so big that these guys had set up a man's cave. But everybody knew, the people that knew about it would go to the man cave, and they had furniture, flat screen TV, stereos, you name it. It was set up, refrigerator, the whole thing. They'd ordered all this stuff on the government credit cards, set up a man cave. The warehouse was so big, nobody knew about it except the people that were doing it. Can you imagine a warehouse that's so many millions of square feet that like a warehouse supervisor doesn't even know it, or he's in on it so everybody gets their little thing? I told you guys stories where I would go into a government building. There'd be the fresh load of Dell computers. So many they couldn't put them in the warehouse. They had to put them in the hallway. And then I'd go up about 3 weeks later to go visit the same command, and the computers had been picked off. You could tell people had just, boxes, they weren't evenly distributed. They were, I knew they were all there. Say they were set up 4x16, down the wall. And suddenly there's spots where boxes are missing. And I pointed to it one time with the GS-15 it was doing the deals with. He's like, people take them. That's what he said. People take them. They just take them home. So that's the kind of stuff that goes on with government. So these guys are living the dream off the taxpayers, and we expect them to change it. The reason why it's changing is because Donald Trump is bringing people there who don't need that. They understand it's not their money, so they're going to be good stewards of it, and they are wealthy themselves. So they're like, look, you can't keep doing this. I told you guys, Donald Trump's going to audit the Pentagon. There are some scared people right now with that. Maybe we'll get to this tomorrow. Scared people on this audit. And the reason is when they audit the Pentagon, they're going to find out the waste. They're going to get subcontractors. And those subcontractors are going to point the finger back to congressmen. It's going to get ugly.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.